Alright, everyone, let's start with the simple questions. Have you ever seen an idea that sounds great but never becomes reality? That's exactly where project management comes in. In today's world, organizations don't just operate, they continuously change. They launch new products, improve systems, adopt technologies. But here's the challenge. Ideas are chaotic. Executions must be structured. Project management is what transforms messy ideas into structured, achievable outcomes. So, throughout this chapter, I want you to think what kinds of ideas in my organizations actually need structured executions. Let me ask you this. Can a company stay successful by doing the same thing forever? Of course not. Today's business environment is dynamic, competitive, constantly changing. Organizations must implement strategy, develop product, adopt technology, and improve performance. And all of these are done through projects. Think about your own company. What recent change happens? There's a new system, there's new service, digital transformation. That is a project. Now, let's define something very important. What exactly is a project? A project is temporary, unique, goal-oriented, has a clear beginning and end. Examples: building a new building, developing an app, organizing an event, launching a product. Whereas something that we call not a project is daily operations and routine work. So, is your daily job a project or operations? Understanding this difference is very important for managers. Now, what is a project management? It is the applications of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to achieve project objective. Think of it like a system that plans, organizes, directs, and controls. So, without a structure, you will become a chaos. With a project management, you will have a clarity to conduct the project. Let me ask you, if you don't plan properly, what usually happens? You will have a project delay, you will have a cost increase, and also you will have a confusions. Yes, exactly. Well, class, this slide is very important. Let's compare. With a project management, you will have a clear planning, better cost control, good communications with your team, and lower risk, and also higher success rate. But without project management, you will have a project delays, you will have a cost overrun and failure. Think about your experience. Have you ever been in a project that failed? What was missing? Most of the time, is not effort. It is lack of structured management. Now, the question is, why do projects even exist? Projects are driven by strategic goals and also by market competitions. At the same time, this caused by technology changes and also customer demand and regulations. In simple words, projects start because there is a need. Ask yourself, what triggered the last project in your organizations? Well, this will help you to align project with strategy. Now, class, let's talk about power. Who controls the project? So, for your information, there are three main structures. The first one is a functional, whereas a project manager has low authority and a functional manager control resources. Second type of structure is a metric, where authority is shared between project manager and also functional manager. The third type of structure is projectize, whereas the project manager has a high authority. So there's a question for you. Which structure do you think is the fastest for decision making? Yes, absolutely, projectize. But each structure has its own advantages. World-class projects are not done alone. They involve many stakeholders. And for example, project manager, they will have team members, and there's a customers, suppliers, and governments. The key point here is stakeholder can influence project success. Let me ask you, which stakeholder is usually the most difficult to manage? Try to think. Well, exactly. It depends on the situations. This is one of the most important concepts, the iron triangle. The iron triangle consists of scope, which is mean what to deliver. Second, time, which is mean schedule. And third is cost, which is mean budget. So there's a golden rule that you must to consent. It says changes in one constraint will usually affect the others. Project managers must balance these constraints to achieve project success. What does mean? That means if one changes, the others will be affected. Example, let's say that you increase the scope of the project, that means you will need more time or cost. Let's say that you try to reduce time of the project, that means you may increase the cost. So the question here is, can we have a high quality, low cost, and a fast delivery at the same time? Well, it's not always. Every project follows a life cycle. Five phases. The first one, initiations. That means you define the project. Second is planning. That means you prepare everything that require for the project. Third is executions. That means you do the work. The fourth, monitoring and control. That means you track progress. And the last one is closure. That means you complete and hand over. Think of it like a journey from idea to completions. So, which phase do you think is the most important? So the answer is planning. Planning is very critical. Well, the project manager is the key driver. Responsibilities include planning, coordinating team, managing resources, communicating, monitoring performance, and also managing risk. In simple terms, the project manager connects everything. So, do you think a project manager needs only technical skills? The answer is no. Now, class, we look at skills. There are two main types of skills. There is a very important skills for the project managers, and to balance technical and leadership skills is very necessary. So there are two main types. The first one is technical skill, or we call it as a managerial skill, that include time management, risk management, and also decision making skills. The second skill is interpersonal or leadership skill that include communication skills, leadership skills, and also problem solving. So soft skills are just as important as technical skill. Well, student, this slide connects everything. Project involve drivers, organizations, project manager, life cycle, stakeholder, and also constraints that we already learned before this. So projects do not operate in isolations. So as a project manager, you must know how to manage the environments. You must know how to handle stakeholders, and also you must know how to follow the process. That's why it called as an ecosystem. So projects do not operate in isolations and everything is connected. So, to conclude this chapter, you have learned about what is a project, why project exists, the constraints in project management, and also you have learned about stakeholders, process in project management, and also roles of project manager. So these are the foundations that you must really understand. In the next chapters, we will go deeper into scheduling, planning, and control, and how you can apply this knowledge in your organization starting today. So let's think together and get ready for the next lessons.